So here we are, Labor Day. We have Monday Night Raw, September 3rd, 2018. We're in Columbus, Ohio, and we start off with Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre coming to the ring. And of course, they're talking about how they're the new, I would say, wolf pack for lack of a better term. And, they're doing all this talking, from the week before where they took out the Shield. But they didn't really take out the Shield. They took out Roman, in a tag team match. And then, what's his face? Dean Ambrose comes down by himself and gets taken out by three guys. And then Seth Rollins comes down with his little gimpy ass and gets taken out. It's not really a 3-on-3. It's more on just three separate 3-on-1 attacks. Anyway, so they're talking all this junk. And then we hear the Shield's music. And they're coming down, through the crowd. And, the crowd's going nuts as usual. And as they are about to get to the ring, Baron Corbin sends out everybody that we don't see on Raw. And trying to separate the two. And of course, the Shield, being the overpowered guys they are, they take them all out with a series of just, one-punch hits. I tried my best to see who was out there, and as far as I could tell, it was, we had the Ascension, we had Ty Dillinger, we had Rhino and Heath Slater. Where have they been? Apollo Crews and Elias. I mean, why should Elias be out there? I like him. Titus O'Neil, the B Team, Jinder Mahal, the Revival. I'll talk about them later. Golly, that's just a sad case. Looks like I could have sworn I saw the guys from Sanity, or looked like they were. No Way Jose and Tyler Breeze. Like I said, these are guys that we don't really care about. We see them every once in a while. But obviously they can't stop three guys from attacking another three guys. So it turns into this whole melee, and they're fighting. But before we know it, we see them being put into a police car, and they're being arrested. Now, I don't really remember wrestling too much, in the whole 30 plus years I've been watching. But every time a bunch of wrestlers fight each other, I don't, they've been arrested a few times, but nothing like this. This was really, really made no sense. So they're being arrested for inciting a riot, but all they did was approach the ring. It was Baron Corbin who threw all the guys out there, when he had been the one who was inciting the riot. Anyway, moving on. So, next we have the Bella Twins versus the Riot Squad. And this match was golly. This match was just so sad. I mean, they had to keep saying that the Bella Twins haven't been in the ring in 3 years, and boy did it show. They were going back and forth, and we had Brie Bella do not one but two suicide dives, and she botched them both. I mean, I thought she was dead after the second one, because not only did she not make it out of the ring, but she landed on her head. it was pretty bad, it scared me. So I have one recommendation out there. If you haven't wrestled in 3 years and you're gonna do something like a suicide dive, you might want to practice that a few times before going out on national television, or international television, if you will, and try it in front of millions of people, because it just looked bad. And no matter how much Corey Graves can try and cover it with his awesome commentary, I mean, we as not in saw what happened. There's just no way to cover it. So we go back to another scene with Baron Corbin, And Finn Balor wants a rematch. I think they've had like 5 or 6 matches now between each other. Let's move on. So Baron Corbin says, "Fine, we'll do it together. We'll be the main event for tonight." Obviously, you know something's coming up. But next we have a tag team match, and a tag team that we have never seen before. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable as a team. The hell is this? Oh my word. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Chad Gable. Chad Gable's a cool kid, but they keep trying to stick him with somebody or another. When he was with NXT, he was he was with what, Jason Jordan, who's currently injured. And then when he was with SmackDown, they had to put him with Shelton Benjamin, which really didn't make much sense. And now that he's on Raw, for some reason he can't be on 205 Live as a singles match. He has to be paired with somebody, so they pair him with Bobby Roode. Which, I don't know if that's a step up for Chad Gable or a serious step down for Bobby Roode. What the hell's going on there? I mean, the guy came into the main roster, and in the past year, he's won a few championships in the singles push. But now he's paired up with Chad Gable. And then what makes this match even more interesting, because it's against the Ascension, which, golly, we can tell who's going to win this match. We have Chad Gable dominating the entire match. Bobby Roode goes out there and gets his clock cleaned. So not only is Bobby Roode now a tag team partner, he's a bad one. And he tags Chad Gable, he goes out there and cleans house and gets the pin. So Chad Gable's the dominating one of the pair. I want to see where this goes. This makes no sense. WWE Creative is I don't know what they're doing. Alright, so after that we have Elias, my man. Oh goodness. I don't even want to say that anymore because of our friend what was it, Bobby Lashley, my man. But I'll talk about that later. So Elias comes out and gets Columbus riled up, hates on him. Alexa Bliss comes out, says she's from Ohio. Crowd goes nuts. Apparently, if you're from Ohio, you have to know the Ohio chant. Didn't realize they were at Ohio State University, which has had their share of controversy. So, of course, they kind of mention it a little bit. They refer to it without saying it outright. Then, of course, after she gets the crowd riled up and cheering for her, she turns right on them. Makes sense. All of a sudden, Ronda Rousey and Natalya show up. Oh, didn't realize there was a match coming on. So it's actually a match between Natalya and Alexa Bliss. And I'll admit, I'm not a member of the Fashion Police, but what was Alicia Fox wearing? Good Lord. She almost looked like that robot lady from Spaceballs. The C-3PO chastity belt lady that was voiced by Joan Rivers. Now I like Alicia Fox, but woo, that was an interesting outfit. Anyway, so they go back and forth, and eventually Alexa wins with some type of arm bar, which last I looked didn't look like an arm bar. No, I'm not a martial arts expert, but after seeing like 15 arm bars in the past 2 weeks by Ronda Rousey, and all the arm bars that we've seen by Becky Lynch, this one didn't look like an arm bar. And Alexa Bliss being all of 4'11" and 60 pounds, maybe she wants to try something else than than armbar because it didn't work for her. Well, visually. Apparently it worked on Natalya because she tapped out instantly. Moving on. So we're backstage again with Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman and Ziggler and McIntyre. And they say, hey, we need some competition since the Shield's been arrested and whatever. And they're in court talking to a judge. What? And it's Labor Day, remember? It's a federal holiday. But apparently there's a judge available to set bail. But I still don't want to talk about the ludicrousness of this. And so they say, hey, we need some competition. Baron Corbin says, well, hey, the Revival's going against the B team. There's nothing we can do. We can see where this is going. So Ziggler and McIntyre disappear. And then we go to an interview with the Revival, and they're talking. And lo and behold, what happens? That's right. Ziggler and McIntyre come up and beat the holy hell out of the Revival. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with this, except for the fact that, one, the Revival really deserve better because they're actually a decent tag team. And, I thought they said the right thing last week that the B team was, annoying because, of their joke wins. I think the B team could have been handled a lot better. I mean, they could be funny. I enjoy their comedy, but the whole, Three Stooges type of wins just doesn't do it for me. And so I was hoping the Revival can do something and win championships and then have decent matches going forward. But that wasn't to be. Obviously, somebody at Creative said, hey, put the tag team belts on Ziggler and McIntyre. So they go out there and beat the hell out of the Revival. And then when the match is about to happen and they play the Revival's music, guess what? The Revival doesn't show up. Wow. Sounds surprising. And then we hear Dolph Ziggler's music and Drew McIntyre's music, which is not a new song. It's a combination of the two. So we hear Ziggler's music for a few seconds. It stops, and then we hear McIntyre's music. Then, lo and behold, and it's against the B team, which we know is nowhere near the level of caliber as these two. So we know the outcome, short of a disqualification. But since there was no build up to this championship match, and it was announced on the fly, you kind of get the feeling that the belts are going to be put on Ziggler and McIntyre, which it does. So, but then after this tag team match, we have an interesting segment where the Authors of Pain, who are guys who have been dominating the tag team division, after this match, come out with their new manager, Drake Maverick. Now, from when I heard on 205 Live, he's an awesome guy, but this guy looks like he's one third of the size of any one of the Authors of Pain. Was it Razor and whatever, Arkham, whatever? Sounds like Arkham. But he's coming out wearing the same, militaristic outfits. He looks like a 8-year-old kid who's, got his Make-A-Wish dream come true to come out to the ring with the Authors of Pain. Didn't look very intimidating. Looked more silly. Once again, WWE Creative, think about what you're doing here. Now, granted, I had a feeling they needed a manager ever since they got rid of Ellering when they first came to the WWE, moved up to the main roster. But they could have done this a lot better, transitioned this better. Anyway, they come out and talk, and then they disappear. Whatever. So, up next, we have the showstopper, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Did I mention I ran into him once at a Target in San Antonio? I did. Walked right by him. He's a small guy. He's not 6 foot. He's like 5'9" at best. Small guy, very small. This was about 10+ years ago. Anyway, moving on. So he comes out and talks about his selling his merch and the Super Showdown in Australia between the Undertaker and Triple H. It's to me it's a bunch of blah blah blah. And he says Triple H still has a lot in the tank, and he's gonna win. Then we hear the ominous tolls, the bell tolls. Arena lights go out, smoke shows up. And I thought at first it was just, gonna be the music. But then we see the Undertaker at the top of the ramp. And I swear, this guy, I'm a huge fan of the Undertaker, don't get me wrong. One of the worst gimmicks ever that has gotten over the past, 20+ years. He comes to the ring so slow these days. He takes so much time. I'll be honest with you. I fell asleep. I actually fell asleep when he was walking to the ring. And I woke up just as he was about to talk to Shawn Michaels. I mean, they could have cut the commercial. You could have gone to the kitchen and probably made a sandwich, used the bathroom. I mean, that's how long it took him to get to the ring. And then they talk about, ending careers and all the stuff in the past. And they kind of allude to possibly maybe another match between The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Now, as much as I enjoyed the Shawn Michaels Undertaker matches at WrestleMania, I think 25 and 26, those were quite a while ago, and those guys were in much better shape. I don't know. These guys are in their mid to late 50s. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe we should just let the past lie. But if you do it, I would say do it. The next WrestleMania, and leave it at that. Maybe. I heard maybe it might be the Undertaker's retirement match, because he needs to move on. He's done his dues. Okay, it's been almost 30 years. He's had his hip replacement. It takes him 30 minutes to walk to the ring and 25 minutes to walk back up the ramp. I mean, it took forever. So of course we cut the commercial and come back. And of course Baron Corbin tells Finn Balor, "Hey, I'm too busy. I'm too stressed. So it's not going to be you and me at the main event. It's going to be Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman." Oh my word. Yeah, we can see where this is going. Then of course the Michael Cole and Corey Graves, they start saying something about the Shield has been arraigned, and they've are making bail, and they're now out. What the hell? But we got a women's tag team match now with Bayley and Sasha Banks, and their friendship that their whole storyline has just been ignored now with the whole counseling and hating each other and loving each other. They're now just good buds against Dana Brooks and Ember Moon. Now, of course, we had the match last week between Dana Brooks and Sasha Banks. That was pretty much useless. This is pretty much a rematch, but it's a tag team match, so it's not the same, of course. In WWF Creative's eyes, it's different, totally different. And Ember Moon, who has not given a storyline really since she's been brought up. She's been here, what, 4 or 5 months now? Anyway, it's the same match. Pretty much the exact same match. With, Titus Worldwide trying to give Dana Brooke advice. She yells out, "I got this," which she clearly doesn't. And she loses again. And in her frustration, she says she's done and walks off. Well, here's the news. We've been done with this for a while. Dana Brooke, you can wrestle. And what's sad is there's so many ladies who can't wrestle. And then there's so many who can. You have your Ember Moon, who's in your Charlottes and your Becky Lynches and your Natalias. Excellent wrestlers. And then all of a sudden you throw in these Iconics and Dana Brooks. And I mean, golly. Anyway, I can go on for a while for that. Maybe I'll save that for another video. Okay. Now this is where a truly annoying skit. Where we have Bobby Lashley talking with Baron Corbin about some performance report. Now he's supposed to meditate in the ring with Jinder Mahal. Now, with all the other craziness on Raw, this is truly the first time I'm watching this, and I get that line in my head from Return of the Jedi where Luke Skywalker says, "I have a bad feeling about this." I truly do. And for some reason, Bobby Lashley wants to say, "My man," all the time. I think he just saw Justice League, and now he has a fixation with Aquaman. Because that's all he says now. "My man." Good Lord. So they go out to the ring. They sit down, and they say Shanti over and over. And you think Jinder Mahal's about to do something because you think they're going to have a program between these two. But all of a sudden, Kevin Owens comes out. Now, Kevin Owens is the guy who quit last week and left. But apparently he has an issue with Bobby Lashley, so he shows up in Ohio to take out his frustration on Bobby Lashley. Makes no sense. But of course, this is WWE, so so now we're going to have a Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens type of beef. Alright, so we're now time for the main event. We find out, like I said, the Shield's posted bail, and they're on their way back. So Finn comes out to the ring. Braun comes out with the new tag team champions. It's pretty much a squash. Finn tries to do a chokehold over and over. It doesn't work. Braun basically throws them all everywhere like a rag doll. I mean, Finn, granted, the man's in shape, has more abs than anybody else I know. But I mean, he's like, 1/4 the size of Braun Strowman. And then finally the match is over. He pins Finn Balor, and of course, they got to start, wailing on him. But then we hear police sirens. And of course they have to stop and look around like, okay, what the hell's going on? And then we see the police van that took the Shield away come back into the arena. Now, they didn't arrest him in the arena. They arrested him way in the back. But now the police van is actually in the arena. Because, realistically, when you get arrested on a federal holiday, you can still get bailed out within a 3-hour time period, and you get to use the police vehicle to come back to where you originally got arrested, because Roman Reigns is actually driving the vehicle. This makes no sense, people. I know. It's wrestling. So they come out and they start having a huge fight again. Well, not really a huge fight. They're about to come and attack the guys. But as they're about to attack, they get ambushed from behind by basically all the heels in Raw. And like I said, it's basically, it's not everybody. It's all the heels. So I recognize Authors of Pain. I saw Elias. I saw Kevin Owens, and Jinder Mahal, and the Ascension, and the one guy from 205 Live, and there's probably a few more. And they, beat down on the Shield for seems like forever. I'm ready for the show to be over. Anyway, I have to say probably the coolest part is when they threw Seth Rollins into the police van and we see the glass break. That was pretty cool. But all in all, that was our show for September 3rd, 2018. Pretty silly, pretty nonsensical. Nothing made any bit of sense. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on The Shield, Raw, Braun Strowman, Ziggler, women's match. What the hell's going on here? Not too excited about SmackDown. But SmackDown has always had pretty much better storylines. I like the Becky Lynch, Charlotte thing going on. But where the hell's Asuka? Anyway, that's it for me. And I know I'm a day late posting this, but I'll try to make sure I get it up sooner next time. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys next time. Like I said, tell me your thoughts on Raw. I like talking with you guys. Peace.